Alright, I've been here before, but now I'm back because I have more to say about it. This is Harry Weatherford, Deputy Harry Weatherford, climbing in the second floor window from the roof of the west wall loading dock area. And according to his story, when the president was shot, he ran to the railroad yards like many other deputies did. And then when the word came, the shots came from the building, he went there. He entered the building and got out this window to check on the roof of the loading dock to see if there were any holes there, because he thought it was possible that someone had been firing out a west window above that roof. So he went on the roof to check for holes. I think that is a lie. There's another account by Detective Sankel of the Dallas Police Department. He says that he met Weatherford outside the building and went in and started searching the building with him. The Sankel story and the Weatherford stories do not correspond to each other. They don't agree. Sankel's story doesn't include this thing here. So I believe Sankel, and I think Harry Weatherford was lying, and I think he was out on the roof while the president was being shot. Now that picture of Weatherford comes from this video taken by a television news cameraman, probably from an overpass on the Stemmons Freeway or towards the Stemmons Freeway, and it's two parts. First he has this part of the building here. He seems to find it interesting for some reason, and then he changes his position in time to get Harry crawling in the window here. In the first part of the video, there is a thing, an object, in the red frame there, which I've noticed before, and I wondered if it was a person, but I dismissed the idea, because if this was a person standing in front of that second floor window, he would be much lower in relation to the window. But I think I dismissed that too quickly. I didn't explain that very well. The window behind this person is actually the fourth floor window. If he was standing on the roof next to the windows, he would be lower than that in relation to the second floor window. So he's so much higher here than he should be. I thought this guy couldn't possibly be standing on the roof next to the window. It looks to me as if this object is moving around. Not a whole lot, but it's moving around as if it's a person standing there. And I think it is a person standing there. And I think it's Harry Weatherford. I've adjusted the contrast and brightness here, and I'm going to alternate with an even more adjusted contrast and brightness to highlight this person. And I think it's somebody really there, someone standing with his right leg elevated up on something else. Now if we go to an aerial picture of the Texas School Book Depository, this side of the building, you can see that there's two structures there really. There's a roof over an open loading dock area, and then there's another little building. That little building is higher than the loading dock roof, and I think this person was standing on the edge of that roof, and from the perspective of the cameraman, that would make him as high as that window there, whereas if he was standing on the loading dock roof next to the window, he would appear to be much lower. So I think he's standing on the edge of that little building's roof there, which is elevated above the loading dock roof. When we see this person standing there, both of these fifth floor windows are open. But in the Rickerby 2 photo, taken probably about a minute after the shots were fired, we can see that those two windows are not open. The window above is open on the 6th floor, is open just as it is in the other picture. But the 5th floor windows are closed here. But by 12:39 we can see that at least one of those windows is open. And at 12:40 we can see that they are both open. Now, the story we have from Bonnie Ray Williams, James Jarman, and Harold Norman is that they were on the 5th floor, and after the shooting, they ran to these windows and opened them in order to see what was going on, because everybody was running to the railroad tracks, they said. Of course, you wouldn't have to open them to see what was going on, but you would have to open them if you were going to drop something out the windows, and I think that's what happened. In my explanation of what happened on the 5th floor, James Jarman was firing the gun from the 5th floor. He was set back in the window because he didn't want to be seen, and I think they had a walkie-talkie on the 5th floor, and I think they ran to the west wall to throw both of those items out the window. And here's a close-up of that window on the 5th floor in very slow motion, and it's obviously there is motion in the window. Somebody is there, and I think they're probably dropping a couple things out the window, a rifle and a walkie-talkie. And in this grab from that video, it looks to me like there's a person in a light shirt with perhaps wearing a light hat, and very dark in between the shirt and the hat, and something looks like it's out over the windowsill, and perhaps he's dropping the walkie-talkie right there. Here's another grab. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the video, but inside the blue oval, it looks to me as if there is a long object, like perhaps a rifle barrel, pivoting around a point down towards where the right-hand line is, and I think that this is the rifle that was used on the 5th floor that this person is about to drop out the window onto the loading dock roof. And I've got it zoomed here just in case that helps it show up better on the video. It looks like there's 3 distinct positions of the rifle barrel there, as if within this frame of the video it was moving and got highlighted 3 times. And I think that rifle is right here as Harry Weatherford is climbing into the window. I think after the items were dropped that he went and fetched them. One of those items was this rifle, and for whatever reason he propped it up in that corner. And it looks to me as though we've got motion in both of the 6th and 7th floor windows here too. I don't see a picture anywhere where the 7th floor window is obviously open, but there's a head in that window moving around, and perhaps it's open. It looks as if it is, the bottom sill is almost halfway open and the head is out in front of it. That's the way it looks to me, though it's possible that no, I think it has to be that. I don't think it could be light in a window behind it on the other end of the building, because I think from this angle you wouldn't see a window on the other end of the building. I think that's a head outside the windowsill, and I hadn't figured an explanation for anything going on the 7th floor, but perhaps there was an observer up on the 7th floor with a walkie-talkie, and perhaps he's dropping that out the window too. As for the 6th floor, I think there was a rifle there, but that's the rifle that was found by the police. I think there was also a walkie-talkie on the 6th floor, and that would be why somebody might be there to drop that out onto the loading dock roof too. So I think after watching the 7th floor window that probably a walkie-talkie was dropped out of all 3 windows, that is the 5th floor, the 6th floor, and the 7th floor, and just a rifle out of the 5th floor. And there is other stuff on the roof as Harry climbs into the window, and I think that either is the walkie-talkies that were dropped out the windows, or perhaps things were dropped out in bags. Maybe that would be the bags. Maybe the items were just dropped without any coverings. I don't know. But it looks like we have at least 3 items there, including the rifle. Perhaps 4, including the rifle. and that might be 3 walkie-talkies and 1 rifle. And it is beyond the scope of this video to explain what happened to these items afterwards. I have ideas about that, and I've already made videos about that, but I'm not sure exactly. I think the mystery motorcycle man fetched a walkie-talkie, at least 1, but I wouldn't think it would be these. These are already outside the building. I would think they would want to hand these off to somebody on the ground from the loading dock roof, but I haven't sorted all that out. Do it. It'd be nice to see a higher quality version of this if the original film still exists. But I think Harry was out on the roof while JFK was being shot, and I think he's directing activities, and then I think he fetches the items that were dropped, and then he crawls back in the window here. Harry was a busy boy on that day.